Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says it's working with the National Population Commission to achieve the alignment of enumeration area with registration area or electoral vote. Chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakub, disclosed this when the commission appeared before the Joint Committee of National Assembly on INEC for the defense of the commission budget for 2019. The INEC chairman informed the Joint National Assembly Committee that 100 of 774 local government areas in the country have so far been covered in the ongoing nationwide exercise.
Actually, the Commission has been working with the National Population Commission. What we intend to do is to see if we can align the enumeration areas to our registration areas or wards, so that each time there is a population census, we automatically adjust without necessarily going back to the field on our own. And we have spent quite some money. We have not made tremendous progress on that because I think the National Population Commission is short of enough funds. We have covered, the last time I checked, about 100 local governments nationwide, which is a far cry to the 774 local government areas we have. On this note, let me appeal to honorable members to please inform your constituents when they see INEC officials and the National Population Commission officials with steps and GPS equipment trying to align registration areas to the enumeration areas of the Population Commission, they shouldn't please think that we have come to adjust traditional boundaries, because we had a big problem in Numan in Adama. In fact, there was a petition to the state governor and the security agencies that NPOPC and INEC should be held responsible for whatever happened, because they thought we were going to alter age-long boundaries established in the 1920s. We have nothing to do with the boundaries of between one community and another. It's just to align the enumeration areas to our registration areas.
Yakub said INEC accord premium to capacity building. As such, is proposing the sum of 1.3 billion naira for that purpose of capture in the 2019 budget estimate.
If you look at page 10 of page 14, we have made provision for 1.3 billion, basically for capacity building. It's a huge spike from what we proposed the previous year. I think it's about 100 billion, and we have listed 11 items where we believe this money should be spent, not only to build the capacity of our own staff internally, but also to expose them to some of the best practices outside the country. So we have made a provision. Is a huge spike, precisely for what you have mentioned. But you talk about the training of ad hoc staff and the need to start this early. The truth is that I don't know any electoral commission in the world that conducts elections on the strength of its own career staff. You simply have to get the other staff. Otherwise, as for instance in 2019, we recruited between supervisory presiding officers, the presiding officers, the collation and returning officers, over 1 million Nigerians. We can't have 1 million Nigerians on our payroll. If we do so, by the time we come here next year to defend the budget, certainly the personnel emolument will tear the envelope, and everybody will cry to our head that how come that they are spending so much on personnel emoluments.
In a closing speech at the end of the budget defense section, the co-chair of the National Assembly Joint INEC Committee, Honorable Aisha Duku, said the electoral body has a huge burden on its shoulder. This born out of the huge challenge of the overseeing a transparent electoral process, among others.
Year in, year out, INEC is saddled with a huge responsibility, and each year comes with its challenge. This is so. If we look at the population of Nigeria, the population keeps on increasing, and so the challenges will definitely increase. But we pray and hope that INEC will ensure that the budget works towards ensuring that stakeholders have trust in the electoral process. It is very, very important that all stakeholders are carried along and is reflected in the budget so that we all believe in the electoral process.
Zamfara state government has said that a total of 3,526 persons were killed by armed bandits in the state in the last 5 years. This was disclosed by the state governor Abdulaziz Yari in Gusau during a town hall meeting attended by the Acting Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu. Nearly 500 villages has also been devastated and 8,219 persons were injured. Some were still in critical condition. The governor, who was represented by the secretary to the state government, Professor Abdullahi Shinkafi, also said that over 13,000 acres of farmland were either destroyed or made useless as farmers can no longer farm them. Yari said the government has written a volume of report containing over 7,000 pages, giving details of the crisis right from the beginning to the infiltration from Libya and Boko Haram. It disclosed that the government was aware of 8 prominent bandit camps at different bush locations in the state and urged that they should all be neutralized in order to decimate the criminal. The governor said the recent suspension of mining activities in the state by the federal government must be followed by enforcement because it is one thing to ban and another to enforce. Earlier, the Acting Inspector General of Police Adamu told the gathering that the police would take more proactive measures in fight against the bandits and commended the state government for providing enabling environment for security personnel to operate in the state. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has fixed 2nd November of 2019 for governorship election in Kogi and Bayelsa states. The decision, the National Commissioner in charge of Information and Voters Education, Festus Okoye, in a statement was reached at the end of the INEC meeting on Tuesday. According to the timetable and schedule of activities for the election, primaries are expected to produce their candidates between 2nd and 29 August 2019. INEC stated that the campaign by the political parties in public shall commence 2nd August 2019 and end on October 2019. The statement read, the Commission at its meeting held today approved the timetable and schedule of activities for the governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa State, which will be held in both stated on Saturday, 2nd November 2019. Meanwhile, the Commission has also approved the conduct of extensive review and debriefing on the 2018 general election. President Muhammadu Buhari has declared that the next 4 years of his administration will be harvest and consolidation of successes in the 3-point agenda of fixing the economy, fighting insecurity and corruption. Speaking at a town hall meeting with members of the Nigerian community in the United Arab Emirates on Tuesday, Buhari pledged that more government investment in research and development as well as technology and educational institutions. In a statement by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the president also promised that the prudent economic management, diversification of production and revenue base of the administration in the last 4 years will be sustained for better prospects for all Nigerians. He said the next level is to consolidate what we have done till 2023 and make common sense that in order to manage any outfit, whether a nation, state, or organization, you have to secure it. At the interactive section, the Nigerian leader noted that key objective of his administration, which had yielded positive results in the last 4 years, was the campaign for the nation's return to agriculture. He said the nation cannot afford to lag behind again in the agriculture. The Nigerian Senate has confirmed the nomination of Major General Paul Toffa, retired, as the chairman of the governing board of the Northeast Development Commission. The upper chamber also confirmed the nomination of Mohammed Alkali as the managing director and chief executive officer of the commission. This followed the presentation of report by the Committee on Special Duty of the Senate at the resumption of the plenary on Tuesday. The Senate also approved the nomination of 9 other persons as members of the commission. They include Musa Yassi, Executive Director of Humanitarian Affairs, Mohammed Jawa, Executive Director of Administration and Finance, Omar Mohammed, Executive Director of Operation.
The committee therefore recommends that the Senate confirms the nomination of the underlisted persons as chairman and members of the Northeast Development Commission Board. They are Major General Paul Toffa, retired, chairman; Mohammed Goni Alkali, MD; Musa Umar Yashi, Executive Director Humanitarian Affairs; Mohammed Jawa, Executive Director Admin and Finance; Umar Mewada Mohammed, Executive Director Operations; Honorable David Sabo Kente, member representing Northeast, that is, Director representing Northeast Zone; Asmaome Eka Mohammed, Director representing Northwest Zone; Director Honorable Benjamin Tile Adanyi, Director representing Northeast Zone, North Central Zone; Honorable Olawale Oshun, Director representing Southeast Zone; Dr. T.E.O. Ekechi, representing Southeast Zone, and Mr. Obasuke McDonald, representing South-South.
However, lawmaker representing Adamawa North, Senator Binta Masigaba, queried the location of the headquarters of the commission in Maduguri and appointment of the managing director and chief executive officer of the commission, who is also from Maduguri.
I just want to observe that this bill, the commission is domiciled, or is going to be domiciled, in Borno State, and the chief executive, CEO, is from Borno State again. The question I want to observe, sir, is that is it in consonance with the ideals of a commission within or outside Nigeria? Because if you take the United Nations domiciled in America, the president or the secretary general is never an American. If you looked at the EU, which is domiciled in Brussels, the president of the EU is not from Brussels.
Our own Senate bill, we left it open. And I think during the hearings that we had, we agreed that if the headquarters should be in Borno, then somebody else should be the MD. Unfortunately for us, when we went and we had our conference with the House, since it was a matter of vote, there were more of them that were inclined to the MD coming from Borno. It was the House bill. It was the House bill that came with zoning in the within the states. You understand what I mean? With the states of the Northeast, it was the House bill that came with that. The Senate bill did not have that aspect. Then when they now came, they now overwhelmed us with their votes. And it was a conference. Their votes too were carrying the same weight as ours. So we had to now succumb to them in the spirit of democracy. And that was how we ended up with that.
Other lawmakers who said nominally were qualified to hit the ground running urged the Committee on Special Duty to monitor closely the takeoff of the commission.
The people nominated here, from the chairman to the last person representing the South-South, are people that are eminently qualified, very experienced, and are prepared to hit the ground running. I would therefore urge the Committee on Special Duties to monitor very closely the taking off of this commission because this is going to be the most crucial stage that the Commission is able to take off smoothly. And of course, I believe that our committee has the capacity to do that, and we should not dither, we should not waver in ensuring that the right things are done for this commission to take off. We already have learned some lessons from the existence of NDDC, and I believe that those issues that militated against the smooth takeoff of the NDDC and how the NDDC has been faring today will be lessons that the NEDC would benefit from. So I want to congratulate all of us for making this a reality. The Northeast today requires this commission to take off immediately.
And I do believe, sir, that we've learned our lesson from the NDDC operations. My advice, therefore, is that the NDDC now is steeped in a lot of protocol and unnecessary bureaucracy, so that this particular commission should learn from that. Most of the funds should go to the things that will make meaning to the lives of the people, development projects, things that will be life-changing, not capacity building that will just go into the pocket of some officials. So it is important that the Parliament, from day one, will start an oversight of this agency to ensure that the value is added, to ensure that we realize the aims and objectives of this bill, to ensure that life is more meaningful to our brothers and sisters in the Northeast. And I believe that if we do that, we would have not only given life to the people of Northeast, but also for the rest of Nigerians who live and reside and also do business in the Northeast. So it's not just the Northeastern people that are concerned. There are people from other parts of Nigeria who benefit from this. And those who have even lost their businesses, I'm sure they will also benefit. So it is a pan-Nigerian bill.
To this end, the lawmaker confirmed the nominee when put to the voice vote by Senate President Bukola Saraki.
Confirm the nomination of Major General Paul Tafa, retired, for appointment as chairman of the governing board of the Northeast Development Commission. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Major General Paul Tafa, retired, is hereby confirmed as chairman of the Northeast Development Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mohammed Goni Al-Khali for appointment as member, managing director, CEO of the governing board of the Northeast Development Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mohammed Goni Al-Khali is hereby confirmed as member, MD, CEO of the governing board of the Northeast Development Commission. Distinguished colleagues, let me, on behalf of the Senate, congratulate the chairman and members of the board of the Northeast Development Commission. As I do that, let me also congratulate the entire National Assembly for the Northeast Development Commission bill, and also the President for the assent. As said by a lot of our colleagues, it is time for us to not waste any more time. As you all recollect, this bill was passed years back as 2016, and following the leadership visit to Bonny in 2015, and before that, if you could remember, it was a senator from South that had actually raised the issue of concern as raised by DSP, to show that whatever concerns any part of this country concerns all of us. And that is what has led us today to now having a board and a commission. And as said, the board and the commission have competent people, and we hope that they will move quickly into action, ensuring the takeoff of these commissions so that they can do the necessary work to bring development back to the parts that have suffered the last few years. So once again, I congratulate the entire 8th Assembly. I congratulate those new nominees, and I wish them all the best.
It will recall that President Buhari on October 25, 2017 assented to the bill establishing the Northeast Development Commission, aimed at managing the fund allocated by the federal government, international donor agencies for the resettlement and rehabilitation of the Northeast. From National Assembly Complex, Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting. Nigerian Senate has given its subcommittee on appropriation till Thursday to submit report on 2019 budget for consideration and passage. The deadline was handed down by the Senate President Bukola Saraki during the Tuesday plenary. This followed a complaint by the Vice Chairman of the Appropriation Committee, Senator Sonny Uboji, who told the Senate that only 24 out of 61 subcommittee have submitted their report so far.
The subcommittees on appropriation, because out of the 61 committees that we have, only about 24 committees have submitted their reports. And we're unable to go ahead and write the appropriation report unless we get further directives from here. Our request would have been that we'll be allowed to now prepare this report, even on behalf of the committees that have not submitted their report. So that's where we are.
Responding, Senator Saraki warned that if the remaining committee are unable to submit their report on Thursday, the Senate may force to submit the original version presented by the executive.
24 have submitted report. Last week, we all took a decision here that we're not going to waver on our position. Our position is very, very clear that all committees should submit. And those that don't submit, then the appropriation should use the executive submission. So I think that position is still where we are. And I want to appeal to all our committees. You really have just till tomorrow ready to make sure that the report gets to you. Because Thursday, you must lay this report here, Vice Chairman of Appropriation. If you don't get a report from our committees by tomorrow, then you just use the submission of the executive. But come Thursday, here you must lay that report, and that is the position we have taken.
This is coming nearly 4 months after President Muhammadu Buhari presented the 2019 budget before the joint section of the National Assembly. Senate has approved the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal policy for 2019-2021. The recommendation contained in the report submitted by the Committee on Finance chaired by Senator John Eno, which placed the amount of the new borrowing at 1.64 trillion naira to fund the budget deficit, estimated at 1.86 trillion naira. On the exchange rate, the upper chamber recommended the adoption of $205 per dollar, while crude oil benchmark price is placed at $60 per barrel for 2019 fiscal year.
The committee recommends the adoption of $60 per barrel of crude as oil benchmark price for the 2019 fiscal year budget. Exchange rate recommendation. The committee recommends the adoption of 305 naira to $1 as the official exchange rate of the 2019 fiscal year, and encourages the CBN to continue adopting strategies that will aid in the strengthening of the naira and bridging the gap between the official and parallel market rate of the foreign exchange. Debt management stroke new borrowing. Recommendation. The committee recommends the adoption of 164 trillion as the amount for new borrowing to fund the budget deficit, and advises relevant agencies to continue exploring ways of generating additional revenues for government to bring down the fiscal deficit. Also, the federal government should harness the full optimal potential of the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development in terms of revenue generation to minimize the level of new borrowing. The federal government should consider reducing the granting of waivers and exemptions while ensuring that the Nigerian Customs Service personnel are at all oil terminals for accountability, and the Federal Inland Revenue Service should consider increasing tax on luxury goods and services. 20% operating surplus to be remitted by government-owned enterprises should be deducted at source. Special intervention recommendation. The committee recommends that a 500 billion special intervention fund is adopted and enjoins the cooperation of relevant committees in the National Assembly
and other relevant NDAs in ensuring that the funds are judiciously utilized to provide a positive, tangible impact of the funds on the Nigerian people.
The committee urged the Federal Inland Revenue Service to consider increasing tax on luxury goods and services as a way of generating more revenue for the federal government.